I do it, the compulsive guy I am. And yeah, everything's like, bam, I'm doing it. Bam, I'm not. One or the other. So anyways, I can tell you a story here. Story. Okay, so now this is like 25 years ago. So I'm working on cars. Of course, some of you know, some follow both my channels and some don't, I think. I mean, I don't know, I think. So anyways, automotive's my back history. And so this is like, let's see, how'd it go? So I was working at like, let's say the last one was a Goodyear. And then I tried the dealer, the Ford dealer, the Chrysler dealer in the 90s. And it's like all they did was heavy duty recalls, and I was tired of that. And anyways, I'm out of there. So I went and worked for this little independent guy, and he was, oh boy, I'm telling you, that's a totally different story, this guy. But, so anyways, let's see. Somebody wanted to hire, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Detroit area. This is the north eastern side of the Detroit area, which is Rochester Hills. It's kind of a richy neighborhood. They seem to think they have money, and most people drive around and act like they do. So, anyways, they have a good job, so it can support their habits. Getting back to what I'm saying. So, anyways, they needed somebody to work because the last guy left, and I don't know why the last guy left, but I'll tell you what happened here. So maybe that'll put one and one together and end up with four. And so, what was it? I went in and talked to the owner, manager, and then the manager of the deal, and he said, yeah, I'll take you on board. Bring your tools up. I said, well, okay, but the stipulation, I think it was a holiday weekend. So I worked 3 days there. It was a holiday weekend, so the deal with what that was, and most of these repair places are, you get an hourly wage plus a commission on sales on, mainly on like 2% or 3% of the gross ticket. So if it's it's $100, you get $10, $12 on the ticket plus the hourly wage. So it adds up to be like $11.50 or $12 an hour back then. And I said, well, okay. He said, I can't click you on that ticket until we see what kind of quality work you do. And I said, in the meantime, this other manager, quote, Oprah guy, observant guy, he would oversee your work and make sure that it's legit. And I'm okay. So now, as most of the places go, I'm doing what he didn't want to do, which is scab work, like, I don't know, putting belts and things like that on cars. And what else was it? Just junk that he didn't want to do, which you expect that. And so at the same time, I had an application into another Goodyear somewhere else. And so when I got back, I asked him, I said I needed this day off, so I went down and did this interview at this other place. He said, yeah, we'll hire you at this much, and we'll give you the 10 or 12% commission on each ticket, and no problem, and we'll give you 40 hours of the week. And I'm like, really? He said, yeah. And the following day, I went up with some friend of mine's truck, because I didn't have a truck back then. I just had a car. And sorry, I got some music in the background. Hopefully they won't flag me because my mouth is so loud. So anyways, I went up and said, I'm going to load my toolbox up, and the manager says, well, what's going on here? And I said, well, I'm going It just didn't happen very often to me. Some said I got a job lined up where they're giving me this much money and that much money, where I didn't. I don't think I even told them. I says they just start me out or what I want to be started out at, and I'm starting tomorrow and I need to get my toolbox down there. Well, can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? I said, no talk. I mean, you guys were closer to my house, but this other place had lots of work, had lots of stalls so you could line up cars, and you know, if you have one broke down, you can go on to the next stall. So I had like 2-3 stalls that I could use, and this other place would just had one. And so if it's broke down with some car repair, then you're like standing around picking your nose waiting for parts, you know, and you can't do that. I mean, if you want to make some money. So I went down to the place, and shoot, I worked there 2, 3, maybe 4 years, maybe up to 5 years at that place there, and it was rolling big time. This one was in Southfield. It was in Southfield, and it was not too bad. I mean, you know, you're in that neighborhood, just outside of Detroit. I mean, Detroit was just half a mile away or 3/4 of a mile away. Well, it's actually a mile away, but the people you seen come in there was, yeah. I think one of the basketball players, Bill Laimbeer, came in there one time and did autographs, and a few other, you know, because it was right on the Goodyear was. It used to be an old Firestone, so it was a strip mall around. It was outside of the mall, so there was like like Silver, Long John Silver was over there, and Burger King was around the corner, McDonald's just down around the corner, and so there's, you know, lots of normal strip mall kind of thing. So we worked there for a long time. One of the things that was kind of funny about it, there was two guys went in on it together, and one had more money than the other, and one was a muffler guy and one was just an idiot. Well, he was just an idiot. And so anyways, he was just an idiot. So just an idiot. So anyways, he would come out and say that what was one of the things, if somebody comes running through, see, that because there was open doors on each side, so they could run through there. You know, somebody could run through from the mall. So out of the blue, you'd have security vehicles driving around all over the parking lot. They'd drive around the building, you know, with, you know, their little Ford vehicles with the little lights flashing on top. They didn't, you know, they couldn't do anything. They had no weapons. They might have had a billy club maybe, but not even that. And their police radio. So out of the blue, the manager would say, come out and said something to us like, somebody just stole something at the store, and then out of the blue you'd see somebody run through one door and out the other, and all of a sudden you're hearing sirens and all that, and then you're looking, everybody's looking like, what the heck was that? And they're all like, somebody just stole something over to thing, and they're headed for their neighborhood, the hills. So they'd be squealing tires around the building and coming, and then there'd be like around the outside of the thing, there'd be a big embankment to go to the main highways. So they'd be doing Dukes of Hazzard over. They'd come down there and then they'd do Dukes of Hazzard over top of it. You know, they'd run in the trees going too fast, and they'd get stuck up on the hill, and the people would be running across the next road, and I think it was Evergreen or Southfield Road. I think it's probably Southfield Road. And it would be a big old fiasco, and everybody would, you know, stop working and watch what was going on. And so it would be hilarious. I mean, seriously, it'd be hilarious. This is way before YouTube, you know. So, you know, even phones didn't have they had one little click, click, click. You could take some pictures with the phone, but, you know, nobody was waiting to see that. You know, they weren't standing with their phone in their hand ready to go click, 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 you know. But anyways, then, you know, out of the blue, like Then all of a sudden we get one where they came inside the building and they went and hid in the bathroom. And then we were all supposed to go, like, there was on the other end of the building, there was like a lounge for the, employees, second floor up. So we were told to go, when something like that happens, you head to the other end of the building and go on up. We never did that. We stayed down on the left floor and we're looking around the corner. Everybody was looking, like, I think there's like six guys, I think we had up to 6 guys working. And two, 3 tire people. And we'd be all looking around the corner, like, what's going on over there? What's going on over there? And they'd have them locked up in the bathroom, and then we were, it was like, we were like picking our nose for an hour and a half time. They finally talked them out of the bathroom or busted the door off and went there and drug them out. So the problem is that they don't know if they had a gun on them. Probably most of the time they didn't have a gun. They were just locked in the bathroom. So that happened quite a lot. That locking in the bathroom or going inside or going upstairs. They didn't go upstairs, but we ended up going upstairs. So anyways, that happened for a few years, and one of the things that was really fun is we came into work one day and they're like, we're closing her down, and we're all like, closing it down? He said, yeah, we're closing it down. Said, you can just lock your toolbox up and come here tomorrow and get it. So we're all like, oh, okay. So, what are you gonna do? Well, the one guy stole all the money, was stealing money. So we noticed that we're having a hard time cashing our checks. And he would say to us when he came in, the bank would say there's no sufficient funds, and so then we had to go back to him, and he would give us cash. He knew that. He knew it was an inefficient fund thing, and he kept coming up with some excuse about something. I don't know. The bank was having a problem, and they were going to change banks or whatever else, and it went on for over a month, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, he's closing the place down, and he's been taking the money and depositing in some account somewhere or other, and so anyways, we showed up to get our toolboxes. I'm loading my toolbox, and everybody else is going upstairs. The whole upstairs is parts, so everybody was looking up in their toolbox, looking up in the catalogs what they wanted for parts. And they were loading their cars up full of parts, and then the owner kept coming out and going like, you can't take that parts, you can't take that, hey, you can't take that, hey, you can't take that. And he kept saying that, but he didn't call the police or nothing like that. See, these guys all got struts and shocks and exhaust and mufflers and this and that and wire sets and this, all this for their cars. And they already had their toolbox lined up, and he's yelling at them, and everybody else is somewhere else, and the service manager's like, take what you want. Take what you want. Yeah. So I think I took something little, like an AC checker or something for refrigerant, because it was right by my toolbox. I just slid it in my toolbox. Other than that, I didn't take anything. But I didn't have one of those, and I kept using it, and it was probably not the right thing to do, but Anyways, and you know how the AC equipment, it's like after a year it's already deleted, you don't even use it anymore, so you throw it away because there's something better out. And it was already old anyways. I think they had 2 or 3 of them. And I think this was probably the best one out of the bunch. So anyways, and then I had his phone number, and then I was talking to another guy, and they said, yeah, he left the company van inside there. And they also had like stereos, or they would sell, they would install stereos there, and it was like somebody didn't pay in their stereo thing, and then they said they had to have it fixed. So they brought them in. They brought the people in and locked the door, and then they called the police in, and they ended up arresting the people because they had, like, I don't know, stereo equipment back in that day was $2,000-3,000 worth of stereo equipment in a car that never even paid the credit card payment on. So that was interesting too, to see that go down from the site. But the real interesting one was that the guys were saying that the building was broken into and the van was gone, and they found the van like 10 miles away empty. To find out the boss stole all the stereo equipment out of the showroom and whatever else it was. He stole all that. He put it all in a van and drove it to the door and drove it somewhere and abandoned the van and took all the stereo equipment that was in that building. He took all that. So that was pretty funny, that guy doing that. But anyways, there's more to it. There's more stories about working for people and the nonsense that goes down, and that's my experience in one of many jobs I worked at. And if you guys like that kind of stuff, leave a comment in the bottom, and I think I'm going to post this one up sometime and see if you guys like this kind of interesting stuff. You guys can ask questions at the bottom. Well, like I said, I did that. Like I said, I think I was into that one for about 5 years. That was it was not a company store, and I've worked at some company stores and they don't run like that. It's a privately owned store. I worked at a couple other Goodyear stores too, and that are also interesting. The whole fiasco behind that. All right. Hope you liked that little story. It was very interesting. I can only tell you a little bit of what it was, but it was daily, weekly, something going on, something always going on there. I mean, around Christmas time, Christmas and New Year's, the theft there was unbelievable at that mall. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for you new subscribers, and we'll see you next time. Adios.